Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham and Neal McCready, Clark Ford at studio this morning. Good to see the guys on the live stream this morning as well. We will update you on anything we've heard in the last day or so since you heard from us. Last time you heard from us, I guess, is the hand raise guys on Sunday night. So we'll that is up in podcast form, by the way. It's not always the case, but it was yesterday's podcast with it being a federal holiday and all. I don't know that necessarily mattered, but either way, since we did it so late on Sunday night, it became yesterday's podcast. So back with you today, the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford, ribs, lunch specials, daiquiris, lots of flavors. Even though it's kind of chilly outside, maybe you want a daiquiri. You can get that there with the Oxford Exxon, as big as 44 ounces if you so wish. Next door to the Oxford Crystal, you can turn your basketball ticket into a coupon, $150 off a steamer pack or a sack full there with the Oxford Crystal, and the Crystal and Saltillo open now as well, so you can check that out if you're in the Tupelo area, and you can come from Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's that simple. It's right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is totally up to you. What I would suggest that you do is that you take that quote and you get into a Clark Ford today. You will absolutely love the product, and you will love the service that you get after the sale. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. People ask what that means. Call the number. You'll start to find out. 662-257-1900.
It took 21 days, but I finally, in the YouTube description, put 2020 instead of 2019. First in and had to edit it. It only took 21 days.
Knock on wood, I haven't
3 weeks.
I haven't screwed that up yet.
Every freaking time.
Oh, let me say this also before we get started. Yeah. Guests will join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. If you are looking for a place to watch Ole Miss Tennessee tonight, highly recommend Rafters. I watched the second half of Kentucky-Arkansas at Rafters on Saturday on the big screen. It was kind of cool. You can do that tonight. Ole Miss and Tennessee, I believe, tip off at 8 p.m., which means it's a 9 p.m. Eastern time tip, which is stupid.
That's late.
Anyway, 8 p.m. Ole Miss and Tennessee. If you want to watch it at Rafters, tell them that you're there because you heard about it on the podcast. That would do us a favor. And then don't forget, every Sunday, it's Bluegrass Brunch. It starts at 10:45. $3 mimosas, $5 famous Bloody Marys there at Rafters on the square in Oxford.
So, Freddie Roach, what's going on? We'll start there and we'll go from there.
He's gone. I guess everybody's waiting for official confirmation. He's leaving for Alabama, as I was told this morning from someone who would know. I'll give you the quote. I'm not sure it's official yet, but he's going to Alabama unless something weird happens.
Like what?
I don't know. I mean, the apocalypse. I don't know. He's going. At this point, it'd be hard to stay.
What do you mean? Just because you've already let it out there this long?
Yeah. Almost went to the Giants. So no one would hold against him, but then he comes back and they introduce him, and then a day later he's gone to Alabama. 2 days later, no, I'm going to stay. Feels kind of weird.
I do wear the Blue Delta hat a lot. It's reading from the live stream here. It sits in my car, and it is the most comfortable hat I own. I will say that too. I don't wear caps much though. If I'm not on air and feel like I have to put headphones on potentially or something, I'm not a huge cap person. So a couple of them just sort of sit there, and I'll grab one and throw it on and whatnot. Blue Delta caps and pullovers. That's what I do.
It's a really comfortable cap.
It is a really comfortable cap.
They're really cool people. They're friends of ours. So we like them.
Yeah. I have
Nick
no issue wearing his.
Blake and Taylor and all of the people there at Blue Delta.
Yes, we're talking the big visors. Yeah, I like the big visors, not the low profile. But I can't pull off the Lane Kiffin visor. I need the Spurrier visor. It's the big one.
I don't wear visors. Bald dudes can't wear visors.
You can't wear a visor. No, you need...
Frankly, it's the one thing that tells you Matt Nagy's a psychopath.
Oh, you think that's a negative for him?
There's no question it's a negative.
Really?
It's a complete lack of judgment. Like, it tells you there's no one in his life who loves him enough to go, hey, Matt, this is a stupid idea. You look like a dumbass.
If you don't have hair, no visor.
No. Why are you wearing a visor? To keep the hair out of your eyes?
Just put a cap on.
Yeah, put a cap on. You look fine then.
Oh, there's a huge visor difference. You have the big high-profile visors like the tour players, then you have the smaller, low-profile visor. Yeah, huge difference.
Yeah.
It's really hard for most people to pull off either. Yeah.
Frankly, a lot of people who try to pull off a visor look terrible. They just don't realize it.
It's like Jeffrey's got tons of hair, and he says he can't pull a visor off. He doesn't wear one at all.
Yeah, you just got to be careful with that.
The Imperial Tour visors are the best ones. Those are that's the best brand for the big tall visor.
Take your word for it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got. We're gonna have we're just probably gonna end up just talking today a good bit. But news wise, let's see. Damon Clowney.
I think it's Damon.
Damon Clowney.
But maybe it's Damon. I don't know. Who cares? He committed. I think we all knew he was going to commit. Not exactly a secret. I think he committed over the weekend. I don't think it. I know he did. They waited to announce it. Gave it to somebody who had written a big story on him a couple of years ago.
Adam Kramer.
Yep.
Kegs and Eggs on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm one of the few people who doesn't follow that. Apparently, I've never listened to it. Is it a show?
It used to be a blog. He writes for Bleacher Report now. He was like back when college football really started getting the blogs up and kind of the independent stuff. He was one of the main guys with that back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against him. I just don't.
Yeah, good follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
Seems like a good dude. Fine.
Yeah. So he committed late last night. It's my understanding he's starting school today. Or this week, I should say. I guess you could miss today and you'd still be okay. You're getting started today. I saw him in person on Sunday. He looks good. I told you this. I told Zach this. I told the people that I talked to this. He's got to get bigger and stronger to play in this league. So if he gets started today, I would assume he gets started in the strength program at some point this week as well. And he needs it. And that's not a knock on him at all. It's just, I've covered this league for a while. You want to play defensive end, outside linebacker in this league, you're going to have a little size to you. And he's pretty thin right now.
He is the cousin of Jadeveon Clowney.
Okay.
They are cousins, if you're curious. I did not know. I'm just kind of skimming this story here.
They're like second cousins, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. Cousins. You close with any cousins?
I mean, I was when I was younger. Not as much now. I don't know.
Wish I knew where my.
I feel isolated sometimes when you start asking me some questions. I'm like, maybe I don't talk to any people every day. I don't know. Do what?
Wish I could find my chapstick. You feel isolated when I ask you questions about your cousins?
Well, no. I was trying to think. I was like,
holy hell. I mean, hold on, everybody.
Okay.
Let's get Chase a safe space. Goodness.
If you don't talk to if you don't talk to 4 or 5 cousins a day, are you really even living, right? I mean,
make sure you're feeling all right. My apologies. Goodness.
I don't know. I'm in a weird mood today. I'm trying here, guys. Kirby Smart looks like he works at a Checkers in a visor.
He does.
There's some truth there.
He absolutely does.
That is not wrong.
He would be better off not wearing a hat or a visor.
Yeah, he should just be hatless.
Just go out there with your hair.
Freeze wore the low profile visor. That's a low profile visor.
Okay.
Yeah. They're wanting your thoughts on Andrew Ray.
I think he has a mental illness and needs help.
You think he legitimately does?
Yeah.
You don't think it's an act?
Even if it's an act, it's not a good act. Why would you do that to yourself? No, I think he's one of these people that takes recruiting way too seriously, takes college football way too seriously. Needs help.
It dictates his life.
Needs help. I mean, he acts paranoid. I mean, when he says Clemson insiders are threatening his life, what is a Clemson insider? Someone who covers Clemson? What does that mean?
Ole Miss up to 35 in the team rankings for recruiting for 2020.
Is that right?
At this point, yeah, showing 18 commits means the big number there is that 18 is actually a bigger number because that means for 2 more commits they get full value. Once you get to 20, it's the net. They take whatever the new guy is, drop off the lowest ranked, and it's the difference. So for 2 more, they get full value on the ranking. That means looking ahead of them, only one school in the top, between 26 and 35 has fewer than 20 points or 20 commits. So decent chance that Ole Miss, when they just get 2 commits, will push into toward the top 25 or be very close to it. The way this works, because they are at 1,500 points right now, and I believe that as long as it's anywhere near decent value prospects, 2 more of them would push them up to around 26, just judging by this thing in a vacuum, obviously. I mean, I guess if some of those guys grab some 5 stars, it would move, but yeah, somewhere in there. So it's got a point being, he has a shot at the top 25 class.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes with the top 25 class. Where I wouldn't get hung up on the rankings if I were an Ole Miss person is that they've taken 2 grad transfers. I think they're probably going to take at least 1 more.
Are they cutting anybody from the commit? I mean, I don't want names. We don't do that. But are they cutting anyone from the commit list, or do you think it's all pretty standard?
I'd have to pull up what the list looks like right now.
Well, actually, I take it back. There's only 6 that haven't signed. The players on the commitment list that haven't signed are Damon Clowney, Henry Parrish, Darren Branch, Jacob Horn, Robert Scott, and Luke Shoes.
Yeah, 2 or 3 of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you think there's room here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. More than ever before, the numbers work themselves out, don't they?
Oh, boy, there's room. Yeah, about half of the list you just said I could see.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was reading something on
Twitter. Yeah, Reese hitting a grad transfer. Georgia Rebels pointing that out, but he's a transfer. He's not going to count. And my point is he's part of your recruiting class that won't count in the ranking of the class.
But he still gets to play.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I mean, if they don't count the recruiting, do they really count? I mean, do they even play if they don't count in the recruiting ranking?
Ronald Mathis is asking about Chris Abrams' drain. Yeah, he's gone. He visited Nebraska over the weekend. That ship has sailed.
Okay.
Far, far away. Long over the horizon now.
Toward Lincoln.
Yeah.
I have not heard of any waiver possibilities for Reese. I have no idea.
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
But yeah, I think top 30 seems like it's happening, and I think top 25 has a decent chance here.
I will reiterate.
If you got really fire in a bottle, I think you could get toward top 20, but probably my guess is somewhere between 20 and 25 to close.
And it's a transition class. For a transition class, that's pretty good. What's more important in a transition class is that you fill needs and you get started on the 21 class, and I will continue to say what I've said all along. That one has to be a top 10 class. So they've got time. Today's January the 21st.
Today is January 21st.
Got just under 11 months to make that happen.
Do we know 2 of the 3 main focuses from a more big name person as they move the rest of the way?
Not really. I know some of the big wide receivers in Mississippi, Antonio Harmon, those guys, they want them a lot. No, it's too early to know.
No, I mean for this class, for 2020 group.
No, I mean.
Broke over the weekend. Brennan Chapman moving on from Ole Miss. The other bit of news that I kind of slipped my mind. Great guy. As Neil wrote, no ill will anywhere, just a change. That's it. Just a change.
I talked to Brennan. We texted back and forth yesterday some. We've covered Brennan for a while now. Super guy. Just one of the – in a field full of people that I don't always would go, oh, that dude's a super guy. He's a super guy. He'll do well whatever he decides to do. He just felt like it was time. Didn't think it was a great fit anymore. He'd been with the old staff, so I'm sure there was a lot of emotional investment in that, which makes sense. And just kind of felt like it was time to move on. No ill will. He speaks highly of Lane Kiffin. I think I haven't obviously talked to Lane Kiffin about Brennan or about anything else for that matter, but I would suspect based on things that I've heard that Kiffin would speak highly of Brennan. It's just one of those things where I think think all in all, Lane wants to bring his people in. Makes sense. And I think Brennan could stay if he wanted to stay, but I think he felt like, hey, I probably should move on.
Some of those positions will be filled at some point. And I think everybody's just trying to get to signing day right now and then go from there for the most part.
And you don't have to have everything all filled out until, frankly, the start of spring. And they don't start spring until, if I heard,
into March.
It's like March 17th.
Yeah. That's a month.
Gives them 1 month to
prior
get
to the
15
Grove Bowl.
practices, yeah. They're going to wait and do after spring break.
So nothing before spring break.
Right.
Because in the past, they'd kind of split it up. They would do a week or two and then wait and then come back, and it would be a longer process. Now, I've heard multiple coaches say that that's not necessarily the best thing in the world because especially in a year like now with all this new stuff, retention gets lost some when you wait that week in the middle and have to come back. So at least you get to pound through it all the way through 15 practices prior to the spring game.
We'll let you go every other day for 4 weeks.
I haven't heard CJ's name in a little while. I heard it a lot right there at the beginning, and I have not heard anything from CJ since then.
I haven't either.
Again, reading from the live chat there, people talking about it. Recruiting-wise, is that it?
That's all I've got.
That's all you got? Coach-wise, that's all you got?
Yep. I can sit here and pretend to be just super sourced. I'm not.
You're not going to do that today?
I never do.
Just make a bunch of stuff up, see how it hits the wall, see what happens. Here's a hot board for the defensive line coach job that may or may not be open.
That hot board would be it would literally be names thrown against a wall.
This dude coaches defensive line.
Well,
he's an option.
Some people said Deke Adams, the former Mississippi State defensive line coach who was at South Carolina. He's been kind of everywhere. Does that make sense, I guess? I mean, makes sense, but I haven't heard it anywhere.
He was only there, what, a year? Only stayed a year, right?
Yeah, only stayed 1 year.
Yeah. That's what I thought. We'll transition in 1 second. We'll tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting. Understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and with rates pretty good right now. Give Jason a call, 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We are also brought to you by the Oxford University Bank. OUB is locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with a personal touch. OUB also has a commercial checking account, now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. Comes with fully interactive online banking. They can also set up any local business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry with coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Whether you are thinking about booking a golf trip for the summer, some sort of a anniversary trip, whether you're looking to do something for spring break, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. It's the best way to do that. All you do is you give him some parameters, you give him a budget. He'll give you options in the travel industry that you're not going to find on your own. And you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email at jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. I'll have a mailbag up tomorrow. That mailbag is sponsored by the Westin Jackson. The Westin Jackson's a Marriott property in downtown Jackson. It is home to Soul Spa, the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. It's also home to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, where you can sip on a creative craft cocktail or enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships, so gather at Estelle tonight.
Just got a random, just something quickly as I'm keeping the sports in a second. You see this where it's just in California, and it may be something that just stays there anyway. Uber is allowing drivers to set, to some extent, their own fee rates.
Really?
Yeah, it's with this new gig work law in California. Drivers for Uber can charge up to 5 times what Uber has as the normal price without the surge pricing or whatever it is. Said it's starting out in smaller areas. Said they're only doing it going from airports in Santa Barbara, Palm Springs, and Sacramento before seeing how it does in larger areas of California. But essentially, the driver sets the price. When a rider asks for a person, they would get whoever has the lower price.
Okay.
But then as demand picks up, obviously the higher price ones would get matched as well. So yeah, they could, in theory, charge $50 for a $10 ride, typically. A lot of it though is because of this work law, and this makes all the sense. We're well versed in this. Uber is making sure to keep all of its drivers as independent contractors, not employees, because that would be hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes should that change occur. So just a little thing there. If you happen to be in California, that you might experience that.
It's a brilliant piece of legislation. I'm
not seeing it going. I don't think this is something that would ever go nationwide, or at least not in the coming months. But anyway, that's just that. Anyway, I don't know. Super Bowl, you interested?
Yeah.
You in?
Sure.
Niners, Chiefs?
Yeah, I think it's the potential, as I said earlier in the playoffs, when Tom Brady lost, when Drew Brees lost, I think there was the possibility of a true passing of the crown. And I think Patrick Mahomes is one win away from putting the crown squarely on his
No doubt about that.
On his head.
No doubt about that. Really takes the forefront, I think. You get a ring. Lamar Jackson struggled in the playoffs. Obviously done a good job regular season.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Does Mahomes become the number 1 quarterback in the NFL with a win?
Yes. Yes. No doubt. And the 49ers have a chance to they've gotten to this place on defense. Garoppolo was solid. Nothing spectacular. Solid.
They do a really good job offensively.
They do. They have a very good scheme.
I mean, I watched them outscore the Saints that night that day in Super Bowl.
And defensively, they are terrific. And they will go up against a terrific offense. It'll be fun to watch. I do like the people who minimize uniforms. I get it. I do love both of these uniforms. And going against each other, it will be great.
A red on red?
Yeah, well, because one of them's going to wear – the Niners will wear those gold pants.
They're the road team?
Well, one way or the other, they wear the gold pants no matter what.
Gotcha.
I hope the Chiefs are the road team because their all whites are just fantastic.
What are ratings for this? I know Super Bowl obviously gets whatever, but what is the national interest in 49ers Chiefs?
It's pretty high because everybody wants to see something new. This is new.
Okay.
Everybody wants to see Mahomes. He's a superstar. He'll be there.
And Kansas City's going to draw more eyes than Tennessee would have.
And then San Francisco, it's still
it's a major market.
It's not the iconic franchise that it once was, but it's still pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of people that remember like when I was a kid, the Niners had a hell of a run.
Matt Browning says on the live chat, ESPN said 49ers are trying to get an all-white exclusion again to go all white.
Oh, wow. Don't do that. I love those gold pants. No one will listen to me.
You want white on gold? No, you want red on gold.
I want the red on gold, but apparently the Niners are the road team, and they're trying to go all white.
Okay.
So the Chiefs will go with – that red jersey is beautiful, but their white jersey's just fantastic.
Maybe they can both ask to wear road colors if you'd like.
That'd be good.
I don't know what the punishment is, but sure. I'm interested. I have a hard time caring.
You're still hurting. You're still mourning.
I'm hurting less because the 49ers did just run the table. because they look good. I mean, they beat the Saints in the regular season. They're very legitimate.
Yeah.
I would be hurting more had Minnesota found a way to get there or something happened where some gimmicky something happened. But in the NFC, the number 1 seed just ran through the damn thing.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, it's harder to.
These are the 2 1 seeds, right? No, Baltimore was a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Kansas City was a 2 seed.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm hurting. I just don't care. Like, I told you, I'm pretty good as the average fan on kind of finding a team to root for or judging people caring about one of these teams, and I just don't. I have no real interest. I have no idea which way when I'm watching this game I care who wins. I'm more likely to kind of want the Chiefs to win strictly because I watch Gabe on Twitter and his anguish.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Gabe's doing the thing now where he goes, I'm just happy we got there.
No, you're not. You're not. I've been there.
I was there with the Cubs too for a long time, and then somewhere around Game 5 or 6, actually Game 5 when Bryant hit the home run.
No longer just want to be there.
No, you know what? Let's win this damn thing.
I started the Super Bowl 10 years ago going, just happy to be here. I'm going to have some jambalaya, and I'm going to have a nice time and whatever. And then, about mid-second quarter, you go, hey, we're here. Let's go ahead and win this thing.
Yeah.
There's a shot.
I use Carson as a gauge,
and
he's excited about Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
He's probably fairly representative of 13-year-old boys
fair.
Everywhere. Because if Mahomes wins now, people his age start to think of him as, okay, this is the guy that's going to go on a run.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens, and dude, watching him, it could.
Yeah, it's a chance to be the quarterback that defines Carson's
kind of like Joe Montana was for me.
Yeah.
I was 12 years old when Joe Montana threw the pass that resulted in the catch, and they went on to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Actually happened on my 12th birthday. So Carson, that age, I mean, when he's in his 30s, there's a decent chance he's the one saying, man, I remember Patrick Mahomes. Wow, he won 4 Super Bowls. And the Chiefs look like that sort of a team.
I didn't, the people my age didn't quite have that same one-team era because, I was 12, I guess, when the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So, like, that 96 to whatever
Smith
range.
Cowboys,
yeah. That range there, it ended up being the Patriots eventually. But really, there wasn't one team that kind of defined that era as much. I mean, Favre got one in that stretch, and I mean, obviously Peyton was whatever at the end of that. But yeah, not
when I was a kid,
it
was the Roger Staubach Cowboys, the Terry Bradshaw Steelers. I cheered for Dan Pastorini and the Oilers. I always wanted them to get one, and they couldn't quite get there.
You were just being a contrarian, though, right?
No, my uncle was a big Oiler person.
All right.
I liked the Oilers, and I did love their uniforms with the oil thing on that was a good look. And I liked the baby blue jerseys and Earl Campbell and all that stuff. And then after that, where I got contrarian a little bit was I just got so sick of all the Cowboy fans. And so
because Northern Louisiana was Cowboys territory, wasn't it?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I started to say something, but I didn't. I stopped. So I got into the Giants because they beat them some, and I got into the Niners because they ultimately destroyed them. So those were kind of my 2 teams. I did have the Sears Joe Montana jersey.
I just went back and looked. The Oilers jerseys, uniforms.
Oh, straight fire.
White.
Fantastic. The white pants with the baby blue and the red stripes.
Yeah, white helmet. Powder blue or white, and then white pants and the powder socks. Little red trim here or there.
It's fantastic. In the Astrodome, as loud as it would get.
Hey, Ole Miss, if you're going to do the powder jerseys, that's the way to do it.
Yes.
Put it on some white pants with a white helmet.
Yes.
Don't mix blues.
No.
Stick with that blue.
Yes.
Don't even use the powder blue helmet because that gets weird with the way the matte finish or the shiny finish and all that stuff.
White helmet. You've already got one. White helmet, powder blue jersey, white pants. Put the powder blue on the pants with a red stripe. So simple. Don't overthink it. Mix in a little powder blue on a sock.
If you only had to do one powder blue element on a football uniform for Ole Miss, I think I'd actually go the other way. I think I'd put powder numbers on a road uniform. and go white on white with powder.
Oh, that would work too.
Yeah. And then we can mix the helmets up a little more. I'd give you a little more leeway on that side. I think that's what I would do.
I like that idea. And if you're Ole Miss, this is absolutely the time to shake it up from a uniform standpoint. Go for it.
It's all new, guys. It's
you should not feel like, I think Matt Luke, I'm not picking on Matt here, but I think Matt was hostage to the tradition stuff. Lane Kiffin's not hostage to any of that stuff at all.
I have no interest in a red Ole Miss helmet.
No,
that's not one that I have any interest in.
In fact, if I'm Ole Miss, I start to minimize the red, except as a accentuating.
Well, now the red jersey is better than their other jerseys.
Oh, I don't disagree with that, but I thought we were talking about a powder blue jersey.
No, I'm just meaning in general. I don't have any interest in a red helmet.
I like the red jersey better than the navy blue jersey, but if we're going to start shaking it up, I'm going to the powder blue.
Don't put the Shark logo on the helmet. I don't need to play therapist on that one. No. Keep the script on the freaking helmet.
Keep the script.
Yeah.
Keep the script.
I do think baseball should move to the script M instead of the block M.
Oh, you're going to upset
me. I do.
me.
I'm telling you. I do.
Woo. And first you won't talk about Cousins, and now you'll go here.
And I know that the block M has been on Ole Miss baseball caps for a long time, decades. I get it. I would move to the script M on the baseball caps.
Because it's yours.
Yeah, you actually recognize it. I mean, yeah, SEC baseball fans know who that helmet is, but I mean that cap is. But nationally, it looks like a blue and red Michigan M. I mean,
looks like Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland, whatever. I mean, yeah, it Neal is not getting the lizard redone to this extent this time. He is slacking on his lizard.
Well, I don't appear to have the influence anymore.
You've lost that. Having to rebuild capital,
I've expressed my thoughts to people, and I think their thoughts generally are, this all costs money. Yeah.
Well, they gave the bear away. Didn't even charge anybody. Just gave that thing to Lenore Ryan.
All you have to do is bring out a really cool shark, let it kill Tony the land shark right there on the field in front of everybody, and say it's over. He's gone. Literally bring out people and put Tony the land shark in a body bag and carry it out. Be done.
So the fluffy shark is going to be enough to kill the alien shark?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that alien shark.
I thought we wanted a fluffy kind shark.
I got off. Yeah, but then have somebody else come do the hit. And then bring out the fluffy shark as a reparation.
What if Colonel Reb comes and kills Tony, and then the shark eats Colonel Reb, and then we have that?
Thought.
Got a musket hanging around anywhere or something?
I'm sure you could find one.
Okay.
Plenty of gun sales.
It could be a little traumatizing to kids if we literally have a mascot down on the field. Potentially, that's a problem. But
you know what you could do? Because everybody kind of likes a little wrestling. You could have one of those loser leaves town matches. Yeah.
Put a ring up.
And put a steel cage down.
Well, now, Tony's whole deal, we talked to Michael about this. Tony's whole deal was he was supposed to be an athletic can opener. Okay? He was supposed to be an athletic can opener.
I got off the elevator at the pavilion the other day, and that stupid land shark was standing right there. And I just looked at it like, what were they thinking?
He's so ugly.
It's just, and the head doesn't.
If no one knew any kind of relation, how many people would say shark
No.
out of 100? If you just brought 100 random people in and go, hey, this is a mascot. What is he?
On top of the human body with no fluffy stuff?
The current setup.
Yeah. You I don't know. What would you think it is? A lizard, I think?
Well, there is that fin that's in the wrong place and is there.
So almost, yeah, sort of like a gecko or a back in the day, Carson wanted a pet. You know what I'm talking about? The iguana.
Okay. You think it's an iguana?
Kind of looks more like an iguana than which is a lizard. It's a form of lizard, I suppose.
Well, it looks like some sort of fish that got inundated with radioactive sludge. I mean, it looks like a mutation.
Like it looks like a fish or a lizard that was in the waters of Chernobyl or something.
Yeah.
And everything's all screwed up.
As Jeffrey always said, don't tell me that monsters don't exist. They have names now. This is a yes, that's what I was thinking. The Ninja Turtle thing. It's how we got the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
They had the radioactive stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Yes, alien can opener has been the prevalent thought throughout. I still stand by this.
The guy that says it's always redundant when Tony throws up the fin because he already has a fin. Avery says he's a chameleon. Now that would be awesome if he could just change and blend in and stuff. Oh, it is so simple. Like for whatever reason at Arkansas the other day, and I was watching because I knew
it is more fun that nobody that actually put this thing in existence is still here. So we're not having to having that part of this. We can just talk now.
Arkansas, they had a bunch of students dress up as sharks for whatever reason, and they're all kind of wearing the Saturday Night Live fluffy shark costume.
I saw this,
and I thought, how can Arkansas have hundreds of them, and Ole Miss can't find one?
Call Katy Perry, see where those stupid shark things are, and
just buy one. She'll probably give it to you.
Speaking of mascots, I know you didn't watch much of the national title game. Clemson's mascot is the worst looking thing I've ever seen.
The only one that's worse is Kansas State's.
Willie the Wildcat.
And it's just this old wildcat head on a human body. How hard would it be to flesh out the rest of the costume? But no, Clemson's mascot looks like
it looks like a high school that didn't have any money for a costume.
So our rival at Ruston was Neville, the Tigers. And I swear to you, Neville's Tiger mascot, which is probably 50 years old, looks better than Clemson's.
Oh, you're right. Willie, it's a human with just a head on.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's horrible. It's
stupid.
It defies logic that that's their mascot. You're the Wildcat. Kentucky's got a Wildcat, which
just copy Kentucky.
Yeah, it's called
Northwestern
Kentucky.
Has something very similar that you could just copy.
Just call Kentucky and go, where'd you get that? And change the blue to purple. All good. Suddenly, you've got a good mascot on your hands.
Well, they went cheap. It's football dude with a football uniform and a head on. But Clemson, you got to fix that. That compared to the costumed Mike or Aubie, I mean, come on. Like it's
well, if you're Clemson, you're already compared to Auburn all the time. So call Auburn, figure out what they did with Aubie, and then just change the clothing.
I have no problem with Stanford's tree. It's supposed to be ridiculous, and it is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's Stanford making fun of mascots, and I'm for that.
That's what they're doing?
Yeah, that's funny to me. Like, good.
You think they're making fun of it?
A little bit. I think they're having fun with it. Stanford's band
their nickname's
is
a color.
ridiculous. Yeah. Stanford's band is ridiculous, all that stuff. They sort of just have fun with it. So I'm cool with that.
Clemson is not trying to have fun with anything.
No, they're very serious. So get a serious mascot.
Apparently Penn State has a bad one. It's not good.
I've seen it. It's
not good at all.
It's not good at all.
It's very similar to Clemson, actually. That's a good point. That's a high school looking mascot.
You're the Lions, which to me is one of the coolest mascots you can possibly be. So get a big lion.
It doesn't even look like a lion.
I know. Yeah, Doors says Ole Miss got too serious. I agree completely.
Just in general?
About mascots.
Well, they got in their head.
Oh, they
tried to really
overthought it.
Had to really flesh this thing out. There's no doubt about that.
Truth is, they could have ridden the damn bear out for a while, and people would have finally just accepted it.
Had to steer into the skid and let it.
Yeah,
and
it was going to happen. By now, everybody'd be like, "Ah, it's the bear."
He was endearing to a lot of people when he put the box on his head that day. He gained some fans.
Well, they just never completely owned it. Like,
I was scared of it.
Put the stuffed bear in the bookstore. Let little kids. It's not complicated. It's so simple. How many little Auburn fans do you think go to bed each night clutching their little Aubie? Alabama fans with their little Big Al.
Florida got it right. You have a male and a female. I think Arkansas has a male and a female.
Arkansas's got it right, too. Arkansas's got a male and a female and then a little one that they call like pork chop or something. I can't remember. It's cool. It's easy. Arkansas has like it's Big Red and then Sue E.
Is that what her name is?
I think so.
Sue E.
Yeah, and so if you're a little girl, you get a Sue E mascot. And it's all good. They've got them all in the bookstore. I've seen them.
Arkansas has a kid, too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like he wears like jersey number 1/2.
Oh, really?
I think his name is Pork Chop.
Okay.
Something like that.
It's fine.
It's not.
Don't overthink it.
No.
Whatever your first thought is, do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the simplest thought, do
and here's
that.
the big thing, right? Like Ole Miss or Mississippi State fans or whatever will make fun of those mascots.
No.
That's not who it's for. It's for your people. And so if your fans, in this case, we're using Arkansas or Florida, if they think it's cool that you have Allie and then Al E and Allie, if they like it, that's all that matters, right? If the Arkansas fans think it's cool to have Big Red and Pork Chop and whatever, then awesome. Everybody else doesn't matter. Opposing fans aren't coming to your stadium and buying your mascot. But if your fans do and you endear it to your fans, well, that's what works.
I didn't think we were going to talk mascots today, but here we are.
Never know where we're going to go.
Never know. We'll be back in a second. First, tell you about Mastercut's Lawn and Landscape. Premier lawn care throughout northern Mississippi, but a lot more as well, including custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces with paper patios, forestry mulching, and much more. The path your dream backyard's easier than you think. You can find out more at gomastercuts.com. You can get a free quote or that same free quote at 662-607-7773.
We're going to tape a Mind on My Money podcast later this morning. Martin Palomo and I. It's sponsored by Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in multiple states. They have advisors in multiple states as well. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. We're also brought to you by Nest and Wild. I saw Nest and Wild. They had a booth set up at the St. Louis Cardinals Winter Warm-Up Fan Fest thingy. Just horrible.
Are you making fun of Jason Mott?
Just a horrible collection of people there, but I thought it was nice that
people need mattresses. All people need mattresses.
I thought it was nice that the people at Nest and Wild were charitable enough to set up at a Cardinals event to give them something to be happy about. Anyway, Nest and Wild is a Mississippi-based mattress company making a high-quality mattress delivered right to your door. They make buying a new mattress easy. Every Nest and Wild mattress is 1 foot thick, giving you comfort and support that will last. A lot of online brands sell an 8-inch or 10-inch mattress, but if you can get 12 inches, why would you take just 8? Right?
I don't have that other soundboard to give you the thing.
So what you do is with Nest and Wild, you also fight cancer in your sleep. Nest and Wild have partnered with former Major League pitcher Jason Mott's foundation in the fight against cancer. They donate a portion of every mattress sold back to Jason's charity. It's also a no-risk decision. Nest and Wild believes in the product so much, they're offering a 99-night trial on every mattress. Try it out. Sleep on it for 99 nights. And if you don't like it, you can return it. Go to nestandwild.com. Order your mattress. Use the podcast code REBEL20 and get 20% off your purchase. Your mattress will arrive at your door in 3 to 5 days. We'll have Super Bowl picks up in a week. Get this week off. The one final edition of Neal's Picks for the Year, brought to you by Southern Craft Stove and Tap. Southern Craft Stove and Tap has your pregame and pre-concert needs covered. So whether you're headed to Oxford for the Rebels SEC basketball slate or to Tupelo for one of the many events at Bancorp South Arena. Make sure you get your event started off right with a visit to Southern Craft. It's conveniently located off Highway 7 and Sisk Avenue in Oxford and at 205 East Troy Street in Tupelo. Southern Craft has all your Southern favorites ready to serve your hunger needs. So drop in, enjoy a curated cocktail or one of their many craft beers on tap, and don't forget about the catering. From a private event to catering in for your staff at work, Southern Craft has your catering needs covered with a meal everyone is sure to love. Make your day crafty at Southern Craft Stove and Tap.
I was reading here from the big lead that looks, I'm assuming it's today or soon. Yeah, yesterday, that it looks most likely Romo's going to stay with CBS. It looks like
He can go wherever he wants.
Yeah,
but CBS gonna
$14 million contract offers is the rumor. Says that obviously he's kept up his standard as a color commentator. Said what CBS would allow him to do, and this makes a lot of sense, is he gets whatever the highest profile game is and the one that matches what because he's so good with quarterback play and offenses versus a defensive slugfest. That's not where he's going to be at his best. So CBS can dictate that a lot more to put him in his best spot, whereas with ESPN and Monday Night Football,
it's predetermined.
The way that contract is, you could have bad games 6, 7 nights weeks in a row. You don't know.
Typically do.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's actually a pretty interesting story about how I said, there's a huge difference on having Ravens-Packers Sunday afternoon than Bengals-Jets on a weeknight. So anyway, just a thought there with Romo.
He's great.
Oh, he's fantastic. I mean, he is. He's what happens when you get it right with the former player. Because a lot of former players can't articulate and do it. Let's just be honest. He's what happens when you find the exact right guy for what it is.
Think Eli Manning will be good on television?
He can be. Yeah,
if he tries it. I think he has a chance to be sneaky great if he wants to be.
He's got much more personality than he lets on. He's funny.
Yeah.
He's pretty quick-witted.
Yeah.
If he would let his guard down, he'd be really, really good.
I'll tell you who's really good. I know this isn't a popular name with Ole Miss people sometimes, but have you watched any of the ESPN Plus series, Peyton's Places? Stuff?
Yeah.
Really good. Peyton's funny. The Peyton Tom Brady thing on Jim Nance's back porch, where he is like a Jim Nance lives out in Carmel, Monterey area.
He does. Yeah.
And he has his backyard is a model, basically.
It's a replica of number 7 at
number
Pebble
7.
Beach.
It's scaled exactly to 1/2.
Right.
And so they're hitting basically chip shots.
Yeah.
And talking about their careers and stuff. And it was fantastic for 30 minutes. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's got the little bunker pullet and everything out there. Yeah. We've seen it. Pointed this out on the live stream. I just saw it too. If nothing else, it's a little bit of publicity this morning. Damon Clowney, Ole Miss getting a commitment from him is the number 2 story on ESPN.com right now.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, down the right-hand reel. Lane Kiffin picked up his first big commitment as Ole Miss's head coach. I wouldn't argue that's not true, but whatever. When ESPN 300 prospect committed to the Rebels, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. Anyway.
I'll tell you this. We didn't talk about it a whole lot the other night. No, I won't belabor it here. Talk about kids who passed the look test. That Parrish kid, he looks the part.
Look, a lot of people are saying he's the running back that is the main guy in this class no matter who signs. It's going around even before this other thing became somewhat of a deal.
His film's remarkable, and when you look at him in person, you're like, oh, I get it. Now, that's not the end-all, be-all, and I'm not going to be the guy that's judging kids, quote, on the hoof. But he looked really athletic.
Yeah, Romo much better than Aikman. That's not even.
Yeah. I don't think Aikman's particularly good. I think he's fairly.
I don't notice him either way.
He's fairly pedestrian.
Yeah. He's just there.
Yeah.
I'm watching the game, and if he said something great, Romo's the only one I kind of listen to. If that makes sense, like where you're actively trying to pick up.
Yeah, because he tells you exactly what's coming.
Well, that helps. Yeah. We're gonna move on to something else. Does he have a shelf life as offenses change and things that he's so familiar with evolve, or does he learn and adapt with that because of his football acumen in general?
I think he learns and adapts. He's a guy. Remember, Sean Payton wanted him badly for his brain.
He's sharp.
Yeah, he's gonna adapt. as long as he wants to. He's going to make so much money that at some point he's probably going to go, you know what?
It's good to be Tony Romo. You get in some golf tournaments, call some football games.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all good.
Life is pretty pleasant for Tony Romo. I'm guessing.
I thought about this last night. There's a thread on the board about it. Changed our world, but changed really for fans too. Everybody's pretty optimistic. Everybody's engaged in this recruiting class right now. They're moving up, all these different things. Everybody's pretty locked in. We're in the middle of one of the worst on-field seasons we've ever covered from Ole Miss athletics. Football team goes 4-8.
Yep.
The basketball team's 0-4, probably headed to 0-5 tonight in the SEC at Tennessee.
That'd be my guess.
Baseball's weird and nothing else going into this season. Women's basketball team is really bad, even though we'll see what they look like in the future, and nobody cares anyway. No offense.
Softball fired their coach.
Softball in the mid of a scandal.
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot going on positive. Volleyball fired a coach. I mean,
yeah.
Matt Mott locks himself in his office and just tries to be ignored for 6 months. I mean, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
And everybody's just kind of moving forward. It's all good. It's all right. I mean, can you had this coaching change not happened, or somebody else been hired that had no excitement around them whatsoever, there's a couple of those options, the message board would be in mass chaos right now with the way this basketball thing is moving.
I think had they kept Matt Luke another year and the recruiting class had done what I was afraid it was going to do, and then all these other things had occurred, whew, I don't know whether it'd be chaos or apathy or apathetic chaos. Can you have such a thing as apathetic chaos? It might just be funny. It might just be a total joke fest every day, but it would get old.
You can't do that every day.
You can only laugh at yourself for so long.
I'm not being a Debbie Downer. It's a very positive thing.
Yeah, of course.
Found something to get behind here.
Yeah.
Don't jump out a window. Everything's good.
I think that's what he's saying. It would have been jump out the window.
I'm just thankful. I mean, I'm dude. You got to talk for an hour and a half every day. I don't know what we've been talking about. So, yeah. See any movies lately? I mean,
been rough.
I don't know. Tennessee picked it up a little bit, speaking of basketball.
You know what? I've only watched them one time. They were okay.
They have Kansas next after Ole Miss.
I mean, I think Ole Miss could win tonight. I don't think Ole Miss necessarily will win tonight, but Ole Miss could win tonight. They just got to find a way to finish a game differently, and someone's got to step up behind besides Brian offensively. Brian was great the other night, and everybody else was not.
Everybody else is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bad.
Brian.
I mean, they're losing games when Brian gives them 30.
Well, I mean, they've become very dependent on him offensively. And he's very frustrated.
Tennessee is 11-6 overall in league play. They lost to LSU, beat Missouri, beat South Carolina, lost to Georgia, and beat Vanderbilt. So it's gone, frankly, fairly scratch for them to this point. Losing the home game to LSU the way they did wasn't a good look. But then they went on the road to beat Mizzou, and that loss to Georgia was by 17 in Athens. So they're okay.
They're nothing.
They're
special.
not last year.
Oh no.
They lost to Memphis. They lost to Cincinnati. They lost to Florida State. Florida State's got a couple SEC wins throughout the year.
Yeah, they're good.
They beat a Washington team up pretty good. That's good. The Huskies are good. Beat VCU, who beat LSU, even though that was kind of a Will Wade emotional game more than anything else.
Am I right that this game's at 8 p.m. Central?
This game is at 8 p.m. Central tonight.
Why the hell would you start a game at 9 Eastern?
Knoxville's in the Eastern time zone?
Yes. I mean, that's TV just going, hey, truly middle fingers to the people.
Because, by God, they've got a doubleheader or whatever it is.
Well, and if you're a Tennessee fan who lives in Knoxville and you go to the game tonight, by the time you get back to your car in the parking lot and all that stuff, it's 11:30. By the time you get home, it's 11:45, midnight. You got to really love basketball to go do that. And if you live an hour away, you're not going.
Well, no, it's over at that point. You're out. Good for Ole Miss tonight.
Yeah, I guess.
That matters.
That's a really big arena when it's empty. Thompson Bowling. It's a big place. And if it's empty, boy, it's really empty. It's cavernous.
If nothing else, very consistent. I was looking up KenPom a minute ago. Ole Miss adjusted efficiency on offense, 125th nationally. Adjusted efficiency on defense, 124th nationally.
Consistent.
Very, very consistent.
Yeah, those are
very, very, very average.
Kermit would be a lot happier if it was 25th and 24th instead of 125th and 124th. It's going to be a long year. Got to go to Georgia Saturday. Get Auburn at home, I believe, next Wednesday. Got it in front of me. Yep. Auburn at home next Wednesday, then at LSU on February the 1st. South Carolina on February the 5th. Whew. Florida, who's playing a lot better, on February the 8th. Mississippi State at Kentucky. Tell me where the wins are.
I know.
I can make a case for all of those games being losses. At Missouri, difficult. Alabama's really good right now. At Auburn, be very difficult. Vanderbilt at home, I guess there's the first one where I look at and go, well, that's a W. Missouri at home, probably a W. At Mississippi State. I keep getting asked multiple times, what's the predicted record? 4-14?
KenPom still has them at 14-17, 5-13 in the SEC. But again, that's on the whole. When you look at just pick the wins, he's only picking 3. That's the problem for
right.
Ole Miss, is that the overall prediction goes, well, they just win some. You're not supposed to, sure, whatever.
He's got them beating Carolina at home, Vanderbilt at home, and Missouri at home?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes. And he gives them percentages on those games. 57% to beat Carolina. 72-70 is the guess, or the analytical prediction. Vanderbilt 77-69, 75%. Vanderbilt sucks.
Yeah.
And then Missouri 67-66, 51% on that one. But here's the problem. When you look at other games, and again, I get this is not the whole story, but it's significant. On the losses, there's not even one in the 40s. Everything is under 40% chance of winning. I mean, you look at here, 22 tonight, 28 against Georgia, 32 against Auburn, 15 against LSU, 33 against Florida, 39 against State, 13 against Kentucky, 27 against Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
Alabama 37, Auburn 14, and then Mississippi State 18 away to close the year.
People say people expected way too much. I got to be honest. The people inside this program hyped this team. At no point did anybody ever pull anything back and go, hey, guys, this could be a long year. We went full speed ahead marketing this team. No one even in background told me, hey, we're going to have some trouble. In preseason, before it all got started, like literally in the days before it got started, Kermit was worried about offense. I think they thought this was going to be a bubble team. Boy, it's not.
Oh.
What's weird, and I get why they think this, is, if you go back and look at it, if you get away from the emotion of 5 straight losses and you look at it this way, you can see how they felt this way about this team. They had a double-digit lead at Texas A&M.
Double-digit lead against Arkansas.
Double-digit lead in the second half against Arkansas. They led against LSU in the second half. Give them those 3 wins, and we're having a different conversation right now. Change nothing else.
Breein Tyree is currently 3rd in the SEC in scoring, behind Aaron Nesmith at Vanderbilt and Anthony Edwards at Georgia. He is at 18.9 points per game. But my point here is when I scroll down this list, I don't see another Rebel anywhere. You have to go all the way down to Blake Henson, basically at 30.
And Nesmith and Tyree are examples of this, because Nesmith is probably going to be a drafted player. Having one elite offensive player these days is just not enough. Not enough.
I mean, to a lesser extent as far as how it's killing them. I mean, you're even seeing that at Georgia a little bit around Edwards. They're good, but they're not what they could be with just one more dude to give that extra.
He needs a dude in the backcourt to take a lot of pressure off him. And they just
to open it up a little bit.
They don't have that. God, he's going to be a really good player.
I mean, he's one and done, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's out. Lord, he's a lottery pick.
Yeah. Take our final break. Tell you about Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. Tyson Drugs there on the square in Holly Springs. G&M right there on South Lamar in Oxford. 662-236-2222. Deliver to your home or workplace. If you are local, they offer MedSync to make sure your prescriptions are filled at the same time every single month to make it easy on you. Take away the trips to the pharmacy and get the medicine you need when you need it. And with Right Way Meds, they will individually package your medication for the date and time that it is recommended. So take advantage of those things and just the local service that you get with G&M. Again, 662-236-2222.
Dead Soxy wants you to know they have created socks that make an impact. They've teamed up with Bowl Alcove to help young children in the Dallas area overcome the lasting and traumatic effects of homelessness. These incredible socks were created by the very kids this program is serving. With 3 one-of-a-kind designs, each sock tells its own story. So visit deadsoxy.com, click on the yellow banner at the top of the page to visit the collab page. 50% of all proceeds have been pledged to help break the cycle of child homelessness, extend the season of perpetual giving, support this incredible collaboration today. While the promo code will not apply to the Bowl Alcove collaboration, in order to maximize the donation, remember to enjoy the 30% off all other Dead Soxy products with promo code Rebel Grove. And as always, stay Soxy. We are also brought to you by the Oxford Park Commission. Get a jump on the spring sports season by registering for the 2020 Oxford Park Commission Youth Baseball Program. Leagues are open for ages 5 to 15. The cost is $50. All of the games are going to be played on the turf at M Trade Park. Registration concludes on February the 7th. This year, the season opener will be on April the 6th. For more information, visit OPC online at oxfordparkcommission.com.
So, speaking of just the social push and the notoriety around this Clowney commitment, Adam Schefter even tweeting about it this morning. Not typically from a college standpoint. Yeah, Schefter says Clowney, the 148th ranked player in the country and cousin of Seahawks defensive end Davion Clowney, has committed to Ole Miss. He's Lane Kiffin's highest profile recruit yet at Ole Miss.
Well, he's certainly the highest.
That's
profile.
Clowney and that's Kiffin kind of combining from a while we're talking about it standpoint, from a national standpoint. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's both those things. I mean, if nothing else, Lane's gonna bring the news. So anyway.
Do you like the previous NFC title trophy better?
Yeah, I do like that one, actually.
I like that a lot better.
Yeah, that's
I don't know
that's
why they
better.
changed it.
How'd you go across that one?
Someone sent it to me. Power of social media, my man.
Okay. It's better. Much better. I'm good with that.
Yep.
A lot of talk about Jeter today in the Hall of Fame. It's like baseball basically trying to, hey, let's talk about something positive instead of what we've been talking about. Looks like there's a little effort there.
He was really overrated.
Jeter?
Yeah. He happened to play on some really good teams. He was a good player. There's nothing about his numbers that scream excellence. Just solid. Really good. Is that too hot of a take?
It's not bothering me. I don't know. The lead from the story I was just reading, Derek Jeter should have been drafted by the Astros. They held the number 1 overall pick in 92, and they had it down to Jeter and Ichabod Cranish, high schooler, and Phil Nevin, the best player in college baseball, an old Astros scout. Hal Newhouser was begging his bosses to go with Jeter. Newhouser was a Hall of Fame pitcher in his day, so of course his bosses didn't listen to him, and then went from there talking about how
Nevin, right?
Yep. Jeter will be introduced today as a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame class of 2020, and likely the second player to be voted in unanimously. The positive there is that it looks like we've finally gotten past some of the crap voting just to keep somebody from being unanimous.
Yeah.
That is the biggest positive to this.
Yeah.
And I am very glad Mariano Rivera was number 1 last year because, by God, he did deserve it. I mean, come on.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was the dude that you could know the signs. You could hit the damn trash can. It didn't matter.
Whatever.
He was that.
He's throwing the cutter.
He was legitimately that good that you could have someone screaming with the megaphone, "Here comes the cutter," and the hitter would be like, "Yeah, no shit, I can't hit it." Hell, Rivera could be like, "Hey, cutter."
Well, I mean, like, I'm not, look, again, different level. I'm making the comparison, but, like, I mean, it was kind of like in 08, 09 when Biddle would throw the stupid thing he would throw. Everybody knew he was throwing it.
Yeah.
Hit it.
Couldn't hit it.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's like a great knuckleballer.
Yeah. Yes, I know he's throwing it. Thanks.
Yeah, I know that here comes the knuckleball. Boom, 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 knuckleball. Yeah, no doubt. I'm not going to hit it.
And then he slips the 86-mile-an-hour fastball by you.
Well, because you're
on your foot.
head.
Yeah, you're all over the place
yeah.
at that point. So,
someone asked about next commit. I don't know. Don't know.
Mark Grace, Hall of Fame worthy?
No. Very good hitter, though.
Hall of very good.
The Hall of very good. Here's the Mark Grace, to me, is a poster child for why I don't think the steroid people belong in the Hall unless you put a asterisk on the plaque. How good would Mark Grace have been if he juiced up?
Oh, those doubles are home runs all of a sudden?
Dude hit more doubles than anybody in baseball in the 90s.
Yeah.
How many of those doubles become home runs?
Mark Grace's career stats, his WAR 46.4, 2,445 hits, 173 home runs, 303 career batting average, 383 OBP, 442 slugging, 825 OPS.
Okay. How many home runs?
173.
How many doubles?
Doubles, 511.
If you take 150 of those doubles and make them home runs, is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
And then that's before you even think about
you
how
give
many
him
times
300 home runs, he's a Hall of Famer.
How many times did he fly out to the track at Wrigley where the wind was blowing in a little bit and all of a sudden you're juiced up and those become home runs?
Yeah.
That's my problem with Sosa and Bonds and McGuire and Palmeiro and those cats. That's my problem. Palmeiro's a great comp because he and Mark Grace, when they came up, looked the same.
Mm-hmm.
Palmeiro took the needle and Grace didn't. And there's a number difference.
Jeez.
Mark Grace did have some funny stories about the slump busters.
He did.
Those are funny.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, I don't know what's happening today. I would assume there's some clarification on a couple things today.
I'm
Basketball
getting bombarded.
tonight.
My phone,
8:00.
I'm getting bombarded with Freddie Roach stuff. All I can tell you is that this morning I was told by someone who would absolutely know that the full anticipation was that Freddie Roach was going to Alabama unless something crazy happened. So maybe something crazy happens. I don't know.
That's where you are right now.
Yeah.
Okay. We will be back tomorrow with another edition of the podcast. Stay locked in to rebelgrove.com in the meantime, and we will talk to you then.